The Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem, the Armenian religious leadership in Jerusalem, has leased land next to the Jewish quarter in Jerusalem to the Israeli municipality to build a parking lot. This has caused a row. Later, it became apparent that the 10-year lease was in fact a 99-year lease to Israeli-Australian businessman Danny Rubenstein to build a luxury hotel. Many Armenian and Palestinian figures have come out against this decision, and some believe this could be a sign of the dwindling presence of the Armenians in this ancient city. Palestinian officials have contacted the Patriarchate twice, but to no avail. Today, it's really my honor and pleasure to welcome Ambassador Manuel Hassassian, a veteran Palestinian diplomat, to discuss this. So, Ambassador, thank you very much for your time.
It's my pleasure.
Initially, we heard this lease agreement was for 10 years. And then we hear that it's for 99 years and will go to a businessman to build a luxury hotel. Were you aware that it was in fact for 99 years rather than 10 years?
In the beginning, when we heard the news that for reasons cleaning that cow's garden, which was, I know it very well because I live in Jerusalem, and I frequent the Armenian, convent. The rebels that were there needed like almost $1 million to clean. And this was the excuse of the Armenian Patriarchate that we need that money to clean the parking lot and to make it much more luxurious for the Armenians to park their cars there. And then we heard that to no avail, as the Patriarch claims that the Palestinian Authority did not care, the EU did not care, so he had to resort to the Jerusalem Israeli municipality, where they offered him to clean that parking lot for $1 million and to let Israeli religious people who go to and pray in the Kotel, in the Wailing Wall, to park their cars there. That was the initial scenario that was given to us. And they showed us a forged document saying that it is a lease for 10 years, and after 10 years, the Patriarchate will reclaim back that parking lot. And they said that we will split the profit between 30 to 70% for the Israelis, 30% for the Patriarchate, and what have you. And it was considered to be a revenue for the Patriarchate, that under this rubric, that, we at St. James, we need the money to sustain ourselves economically, so we needed to rent this place basically in order to survive and pay our debts and what have you. But when I heard the issue and the news, it came to my mind that I smelled a rat. And that was 7 months ago. I said, no, this is not the way that this deal has been done. I believe that there is a lease of 99 years. And there is a big project that is going to take place in that area, in particular connecting the Armenian quarter with that of the Jewish quarter.
So do you believe they lied when they said 10 years?
Of course they lied.
Yeah. And what is the stance of the Palestinian side on this issue? I mean, the area of land we're talking about is near St. James's Cathedral. It's in the heart of the old city of Jerusalem. And that's essential in the Palestine-Israeli negotiations going on. Can you speak a bit to that?
Yes. The most contentious part when we talk about Jerusalem in the negotiations, we talk about the 1 square kilometer, which is the old city. And Jerusalem is divided into 4 quarters. We have the Muslim quarter, we have the Christian quarter, we have the Armenian quarter, and we have the Jewish quarter, which is the smallest quarter, where they claim the Wailing Wall is the remnants of the destruction of the Second Temple and what have you. These are the Israeli allegations. But it is so important that the Armenian quarter comes at the heart of the Christian communities. So if this property is lost, it means, first of all, there is an eradication of Armenian presence there. Our national identity, our heritage will be in jeopardy. Because once the Israelis, the settlers, move there, then the whole character of the Armenian quarter will be totally changed. Secondly, it was the most important quarter in the negotiations at Camp David, where at that time I was in charge of the Jerusalem file. And President Arafat, God rest his soul, at that time refused to concede to the pressures of Ehud Barak and to the Israelis to give up the Armenian quarter. And we said that the Armenian quarter is an integral part of East Jerusalem, which is under occupation. And in order to substantiate that, I went with late Faisal Husseini, who was the Minister of Jerusalem representing the PLO, to the Patriarch Torkom Manukyan, God rest his soul, and we got a firman from him saying that the Armenian quarter is an integral part of the old city and it is under Israeli occupation. The Armenians are not Israeli citizens. Now, some of them became Israeli citizens, the second generation after occupation, what have you, but in essence, that property has always been under occupied Jerusalem. So from there, the risk in the future negotiations over Jerusalem will be detrimental to the national ethos of the Palestinians and the Armenians if that property goes to the settlers and if that property becomes part of West Jerusalem. So you can see the gravity of the situation where the Palestinians have been very upset, by this move. And we tried through the Higher Presidential Religious Council to approach the Patriarch. And twice we sent letters and they refused to meet. He met individuals, but he didn't meet the committee per se. And so far, he is sticking to his guns that he is doing a good welfare to the Armenian people and to that of the Brotherhood in Jerusalem.
So have you not even had a chance to convey your concerns to the Patriarch?
No, we tried in different ways, but he pays no heed. Because I think, the architect of this deal is Father Bared, who is in charge of the Armenian real estate. So I would say he is behind, this deal. So anything that we need to know, we have to know through him, and of course through lawyers, whom I don't want to mention their names.
And it's not all unanimous. There have been many community members, even priests and bishops, who have voiced.
I tell you, 90% of those concerned have been vociferous against this deal, starting from the community to the priesthood, brotherhood in the convent, to many bishops, to Armenians in the diaspora, rich Armenians in New York and California, Armenians who are, in top positions in the Palestinian government, or all are concerned about this deal, because the repercussions of this deal is going to exacerbate further the onslaught of the Israelis over the properties of East Jerusalem.
Is there no possibility for this deal to be cancelled? Is there anything can be done?
Well, let me first tell you frankly, that's why I'm here on an official visit to meet with the Catholicos, to meet with the President Sarkisian, and to meet with the Foreign Minister Mirzoyan. Yesterday we had three intense meetings with three important people representing the Republic, the spiritual as well as the secular. Yes, they showed a lot of concern. They are very upset about the deal. But, my sense is that, maybe, or our audience maybe knows, that our Supreme Patriarch here, the High Catholicos, does not have any legal jurisdiction over the Patriarchate in Jerusalem, because the Patriarch in Jerusalem is elected by the Synod and by the Brotherhood. So there is no legitimacy concerns. But spiritually, the Catholicos is our mentor, but there is no legal jurisdiction over the Patriarch to order him to revoke this contract. However, through good offices, they are trying to convey their dissatisfaction with this deal, but I cannot see concrete implementation of any kind of pressure being put on the Patriarch Norhan. And on the level of the presidency, he showed concerns, but his main concern was, what do you want us to do? So he gave us some tips of what to do. But the onus should not be on the Palestinian government alone. These are Armenian lands and properties, and you, the Republic of Armenia, and the Catholicos are our legal frame of reference. So there is a say-so, whether with the Israeli authorities, whether with Norhan, and whether with the Jordanians, who are the custodians of the holy sites in Jerusalem. So yes, we have to elevate this issue to a political level, not to leave it, between churches and between the council here and there, and to put pressures on Norhan. This doesn't work like that. The foreign minister was more sympathetic. He wants to do something, but they needed the mechanisms of how to go about. Now we have a clear thought of how to deal with the issue and how to bring the Armenian government into this trilogy of a group that could act as a powerful lobby, basically, to reverse, that contract. Nobody saw that contract. Really? Nobody saw that contract. Even the president here, he said, I have no clue. Do you have the contract? So he put us in the corner, actually, because we didn't have the contract. Nobody has the contract except Bared and the Patriarch. So we need to see that contract in order to know to what extent we can revoke it. Maybe we can pay penalties. We are ready to pay the penalties on behalf of the Patriarch.
The Palestinian Authority.
Yes. If he revokes it, we are ready to shoulder the financial responsibilities of this blunder.
That's interesting that the Palestinian authorities are even ready to do that, and that the Armenian community is having to apply to Palestinian and Jordanian authorities rather than Armenian authorities. The Jerusalem used to have tens of thousands of Armenians. Now the community is dwindling.
Less than 1,000.
What does this mean for the Armenian heritage of Jerusalem?
It means that, if this property goes, it means that the green light for other properties to be lost. It means that the presence of the Armenians will be eradicated, and we have preserved our presence since the 5th century with Dikran the Great, when he conquered that part of the world. Imagine 16 centuries the Armenians have survived and steadfasted and protected the properties of the church and the community and what have you. And now we are at the brink of extinction. This is my answer to you. That's why it is very grave, and that's why we have to be resilient in fighting, revoking this contract.
And it splits the Christian quarter
into... It splits
into...
the Christian community, where there will be no geographic contiguity, neither a demographic contiguity between the Christian entity. And if we lose that, what is left for us? The heart of the problem in Palestine is Jerusalem. And we know that Jerusalem will be the Stalingrad battle to overcome the issue of occupation. And if we give that on a golden platter, then we have raised our hands.
My final question is two-pronged. Do you think that this could be a precedence that is being set? Could this happen again in the future?
It happened in the past.
Okay.
It happened in the past.
Okay.
And I was championing, the opposition to this. Nothing has been done. And if it happened in the past, why not? It happens now.
And finally...
And it will happen in the future if we let this issue go unattended. And that's why we are ringing the bells, not only in the Armenian quarter, but all over the world. And here comes a high delegation all the way from Palestine, 9 hours flight, just to ring the bell that the Armenians, you also wake up. It's not only our battle, it's our battle. Not only ours, Palestinians, but Armenian and Palestinians.
Yeah, and finally, you mentioned briefly, but what would your message be to Armenians in Armenia, across the world, in different continents? What would you say to them about this issue?
We need, basically, first of all, I don't want to interfere in the internal structure of the Patriarchate. Let Patriarch Norhan be a patriarch, we respect him and what have you. All we are asking him to revisit that contract and to revoke it. And anything that entails in terms of indemnities financially, we are ready to pay. But we don't want this property to go to the hands of the settlers.
Well, Ambassador, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, sir. It's my pleasure to be here.
And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.